This is a lightning fast overview of your discussion board posts, which are due in your English 101 online or 102 online courses, okay? I'm going to give you some general guidelines for all posts for both classes, okay? As well as some example posts that I'd like you to take a look at. And finally, some directions for discussion board post 1, which is usually due by about week 2 during the summer term and maybe possibly later for the other terms. Now, please note, the 102 students who are watching this lecture right now, let me address you here. The examples that I give you here deal with essays mostly rather than literature, but the same rules will apply. So if I talk about something, just kind of cross-apply it, okay? I do have a policy for some of my classes, it depends on the class, but I may give you the option to substitute your discussion board post with a chat on groups, which you need to set up by an appointment through the discussion board, or a chat on Facebook. Of course, you got to friend me first at CVCC Spence, and that'll take the place of your discussion board. But just follow the netiquette policy as well as the deadlines. Okay. Now on your discussion board posts, these help determine your class participation grade in both English 101 and 102 online. Now where do you post them? Let's go ahead and go to our Blackboard right now, and if you would follow along with me, you'll go to your discussion board, right? And you'll see the one at the top. See, right here, the first one, questions and comments, is where you're going to post it. Go ahead and create a new thread. Please label your thread something distinct. Let's say discussion board post 1, and then give a brief description and possibly put your name at the end of it. And then after you type it in, you're going to submit it. Okay, it's that simple. Now, it gets a little bit more involved in terms of the other guidelines. Okay, this is not a super informal assignment where you just post whatever you want. There are 5 total posts due this semester. Remember, they're 1% of your grade each, so 5% total. The length is 3 to 4 sentences, no longer than a brief paragraph, and you'll see my examples in a minute. Don't put a whole introduction, for example, in a post, but also don't just write one sentence. Proofread always and edit for any errors, especially if I've given you feedback on those things, right? And make it well developed, expand enough, and revise it. Like I said, there's your grade amount, and complete it by the week that they are assigned. Now, typically, I like to spread them out over the semester. During a normal term, fall or spring, it'll be about 3 weeks, every 3 weeks. During a summer term, roughly every 2 weeks. Okay, so use that to your advantage. Submit no later than the end of that week, because if it's late, then I may count it as your next discussion board post, right? I'll give you some credit, but it won't count as that previous one. They'll be individually graded in the gradebook, and you'll see those updated soon. What should I post? You're probably wondering that, right? A thoughtful, carefully prepared post that accomplishes any one of the following. Ready? Try one of these kinds of posts. Provide a reflection, an application, a comment, or questioning. Let me go over each of those. Okay? And by the way, you can combine these, and you can use more than one. Here you go. Here's a reflection post. A reflection post will reflect on a detail in an assigned reading or a lecture, maybe even a handout, with or without a quote. You don't have to necessarily give me one like the example we're going to look at. Here's a 101 example. In Susan Orlean's essay, I was impressed by how she used the strange image of the Skillcraft visible cow in a way that reminded me of the advice that she quotes from Emerson. Quote, put the argument in a concrete shape into an image. See, this is a solid post. Might want to expand a little bit more, but very good. Go ahead, for the 102 students, pause the screen and review this. Let's move on to the next one. Application posts. Application applies ideas, concepts, or terms that we've covered on our lectures in a new and an interesting way. Here's one idea or a concept. Remember transitions? We use those in all classes, don't we, to get from one paragraph or one idea to the next. Orleans, the writer, uses effective transitions to guide the reader. In one excerpt, she connects ideas by reflecting back on the previous paragraph. Quote, an essay can be most of the above. In another, she transitions us back to her main point about the visible cow, quote, which brings me back to my visible cow. So see how this writer is actually applying the term, in this case transition, to some details from the reading. There's many other kinds of terms that I'll talk about this semester. Any can apply. Comment post. This provides critical commentary on an assigned reading or an essay sample. Here you go. Susan Orleans offers inspiring advice to writers to embrace their own singularity. The values, viewpoints, and beliefs that we hold dear are personal and unique, and writing an essay in this course can help express our individuality. Now, the underlined part right here, this is actually the critical part. In other words, this is where the writer is going to say, well, that's a great point, Orleans, but I might challenge you here. See? At the same time, I would question her statement that we can ever truly grasp, quote, what goes on inside each other's heads, since our inner selves are often invisible to others. So see how this writer is saying, yeah, I agree with the point about singularity, but can we really ever know each other? Can we really ever read each other's minds? Maybe not. Here's a question or questioning post. It includes a brief sample of the student's own writing. That's key, because a lot of y'all are going to be struggling with writing this semester. I'm giving you this opportunity to be humble enough to post your work if you're struggling. I'm only here to help. That's my job, right? And then, by the way, after the brief sample, you want to ask a thoughtful question about that sample, that writing. This might even be on editing errors that you're struggling with, or revision errors, development, things like that. Go ahead, after I put these up on the screen, go ahead and pause the screen and review them right now. Okay, what to avoid posting. This is important as well. By week 2, you should have already settled into the class and familiarized yourself with the course policies, the how-tos, and all the rest of that. So please avoid posting the following. Go ahead, pause the screen, and review this for about a minute or so. Okay, these questions here, I get these a lot, and very often they can be answered by things that I've already posted online. Now, the directions for discussion board post 1 in English 101 online, what I'd like you to do is provide any one reflection, application, comment, or question post on the essay by Susan Orleans, the paragraph example on Taylor's funeral home, or on your written assignment 1. So you can choose any one that you like, up to you. You can choose any one of these that you like, up to you. You know the examples can be found that I just went over, right? So if you need to, go ahead, rewind and review them. That's okay. English 102 online. Provide any one application, comment, question, or reflection that will help you prepare for written assignment 1. You might post on any one topic that you've already selected on the 3 stories. Remember those? Or on another area that you're struggling with for written assignment 1. Be honest and humble with yourself. It'll help. If you can provide me with some details, I can give you some good, quick critical feedback to help you get a better grade. Think of a specific part of your intro, which is also your written assignment 1, right? Or maybe your thesis statement, for example, or another area. Now go ahead and post. And remember, you're always welcome to post more than 5 this semester. Just keep in mind that they need to follow these particular guidelines. And remember to post under the top discussion board forum. Good luck.